It can be painful when a relationship didn't work out, but what if it's actually God guiding you into something better? Understanding when God is removing someone from your life is so important for your peace, your growth, and your walk with Him, because sometimes holding on to the wrong people can delay the blessings and opportunities God has prepared for you. Let's talk about 3 clear signs God may be asking you to let go. 1. Constant conflict and lack of peace. When God is no longer calling someone to walk with you, one of the first signs is the absence of peace. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 14:33 that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. If a relationship constantly drains you, brings unnecessary conflict, or pulls you away from your purpose, that's a red flag. Think about it. Maybe you had a friend you used to enjoy being around, but now every conversation feels heavy, argumentative, or filled with negativity. That lack of peace could be God nudging you to step back, and remember, God's presence always brings peace. If that peace is gone, it's a sign to pay attention. 2. Distance begins to form. Another sign is when distance naturally begins to grow. You stop talking as much, plans keep falling through, and no matter how hard you try, the closeness just isn't there anymore. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 3:1, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." Not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Maybe you've noticed a friend you once spoke to daily now only checks in occasionally. Or maybe someone you relied on just isn't as present anymore. Instead of forcing it, this might be God gently creating space so you can move forward without them. 3. They hinder your spiritual growth. The most telling sign is when someone keeps you from growing closer to God. 2 Corinthians 6:14 reminds us not to be unequally yoked, because walking with people who constantly pull you into sin, doubt, or distraction will slow your spiritual journey. Maybe it's a friend who always tempts you back into habits you're trying to leave behind, or a relationship that makes you compromise your values just to keep their approval. If being around them pulls you further from God instead of closer, that's a clear sign it may be time to let go. God will never remove someone who pushes you toward Him, but He will absolutely remove someone who blocks your growth in Him. So, if you notice constant conflict, growing distance, or relationships that hinder your walk with God, don't see it as a loss, see it as divine protection. Trust that God knows what you cannot see, and His plan is always for your good. Letting go isn't easy, but it's part of spiritual growth, and every time God closes a door, He's preparing to open one that leads you closer to your purpose. If this message spoke to you, I encourage you to reflect, pray, and trust God's timing. And for more faith-filled encouragement and biblical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe and join this community of believers growing together in Christ.